Anymore in today's fast-paced and media-driven world, it seems that all that makes it through is bad news. Things that are wrong with society, our government, kids, and pretty much life in general. As we listen to what's wrong with the world, we tend to get down on ourselves, our neighbors, or everyone in between. The way it gets portrayed in some of these so-called news outlets, you might as well expect to meet your maker sometime tomorrow, but just make sure you stay tuned for how after tonight's ball game. With all this negativity in the world being thrown at us nearly constantly, some folks might have trouble just getting out of bed every morning and facing the day. In Psalms 112, 6 through 7, the psalmist states, "Surely the righteous will never be shaken. They will be remembered forever. They will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord." Now, this passage is a reminder that even when news is bad, keeping faith in the Lord and trusting in His way, we're going to make it through the other side, past the bad and on to the good. Now, one day I drew riding a rough mare when I was a teen for the day's chores working at a friend's place down the road. I recall hearing the stories of her tossing fellas off like me, just like dust off an old book. Man, looking around at the guys that were with me, you could tell they'd heard these stories, probably experienced it, and were expecting something similar to happen to me. Someone not nearly as experienced or familiar to this roan mare as we started down the banks of this creek. Was my heart wanting to race like a kid going after dessert? Oh, you betcha. Did I want to bail off and walk her down? Oh, I thought about it, along with that ridicule that would come from that walk of shame crossing that creek. So I took a deep breath, leaned over and whispered into her ear, and we went down that bank and back up the other side without even slowing down. Now, when we all got across, the older cowboy asked how I did that. Reminded me that he'd been tossed just a couple of days earlier. Well, I looked him straight in the face and I whispered into her ear, "I believe in you. Please don't dump me." About the same time, a horsefly nipped her in the neck, and away we both went. We went down and through that water so fast, I just held on. Now, bad news is going to come to us in life. Whether it be from the neighbor or the news, it's going to make it into our minds and into our thoughts. Keeping steadfast to what the Lord says and not letting go of Him, we're going to get down that riverbank and across to the other side, having faith in Him. Remember to click like, share, comment. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you and God bless.